Book your driving lesson now at dla-driving.co.uk. Sponsored by DLA Driving School.
Hello and welcome to Oh in the Town. My name's Dave Gregory. This is what we're going to talk about today. With only one subject, of course. It's advantage Sunderland in the Championship playoff semi-finals. They scored twice to take a slender one-goal lead back to Kenilworth Road. We're going to look at the game in a little bit more detail. And then we're going to discuss what lies ahead for the second leg. We have your 3 red reviews and much, much more. We've got loads to talk about tonight, so we're going to get straight in there. Nice to see Steve and Pataro. Nearly called you something different. Nice to see you again.
Cheers.
It was a tough long drive up there, a tough long drive back, given the result, but it wasn't a bad day, was it?
No, it wasn't. We're still in it. I reckon it's even Stevens, and it's all to play for. We can't be too despondent. We had a good start. We'll get into the game. Yeah, let's not get carried away with doom and gloom, because there shouldn't be.
Exactly that. One goal, that's it. One goal.
It's a long way, but actually when we got there, I mean, it was quite exciting, wasn't it? It was a proper atmosphere, a proper semi-final, one that we haven't experienced for a long, long time in that way. We went up there, Batara, with full of confidence, didn't we?
Oh, of course, and I mean, we should have done, really. Well, I mean, why wouldn't we? We were on such a good run, scored quite a few goals, a lot of clean sheets. But, unfortunately, that's our away record as well, was fantastic. And then, I think that was what gave us a lot more confidence. And then, so we go and lose for the first time in, was it 19 games or whatever?
19 or 20, yeah.
Yeah.
Steve, you said it's not over yet. We both know that. We'd have liked a better result, obviously, but we shouldn't be too worried about just being one behind.
No, we know we've got goals in us. We've talked about it in previous pods and that. I think, the disappointment is the fact that we were ahead. We'd quietened the crowd down. The first sort of 25, 30 was good from us. It turned on a couple of points, but so many uncharacteristic errors throughout the game that we hardly ever do. Maybe it was the occasion, who knows? But it just seemed like there was quite a lot of 5-10 yard passes that were misplaced, or too hard or not hard enough, and that. So I just think stuff that we would take for granted because of the great season we've had. We kept sort of falling foul of it. Robbie Edwards, I saw his pre-match interview for tomorrow's game, and he said himself the amount of cheap turnovers that we gave them is so unlike us. So there was just a lot of things that we don't normally do that happened on the day, but maybe we got away with it because they should have gone for us and they didn't.
Do you think, Batari, that given the size of the crowd at the Stadium of Light, and I'll have to be honest, when we scored I thought we kept them quiet for a long time, but when they got on top, my goodness, what an atmosphere that was.
Yeah, it was, it's what you expect when you go to Sunderland away, I guess. I mean, look, we'd be forced to sit here and say, Sunderland haven't got a good fan base, this and that. I mean, even when they were in the Premier League, they were noisy, they were, they're a big club.
It was loud,
they should have a
wasn't
sport like that.
I felt at the stadium it was loud. Do you think that had a real influence on our players?
Well, I mean, it was loud, but it was only loud when they scored, like you say. You didn't really hear... I didn't really hear much of them. I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit deaf, but did you, gents? I don't know.
I think the whole of the second half, it was loud.
Yeah.
But up until they scored, I mean...
Yeah, exactly. Once they got ahead of steam, they got behind them pretty well, and the sort of players responded to it. And I think we struggled. I think tactically Sunderland were pretty good. They swamped midfield, and all of our guys in midfield, they were put under immediate pressure. That was what was forcing the misplaced passes. And they've also got pace and quite a lot of trickery in midfield as well. So it can't be all doom and gloom, because it shouldn't be. But at the same time, they're a good team. You've got to accept that. But they're still there for the taking. It's going to be a very different animal at Kenilworth Road. It will be hostile. It'd be very different to the other day, but it will be our way. And we've seen off plenty of teams already.
Well, let's look at your 3 reviews for the game. Sunderland 2, Luton Town 1. Joe says it's only half time. Let's not forget that. Justin says could be worse. OB, that wasn't Luton. Barney, not done yet. Davey, unrecognisable after equaliser. Claude, 1, no Campbell. Graham, bookings affected midfield. Chris says Watford atmosphere needed. LTFC News, still in it. And Loyal Luton Supporters Club, Tuesday is ours.
It's positive.
It's all positive. You said earlier, Steve, you picked one out because you really agree with it.
Yeah, Claude, why no Campbell? We were struggling with the press. We weren't quite getting there with the press, and Campbell, Tasmanian devil, he's the king of hassling. Again, Robbie Edwards said himself about the press not being as good. And then on that basis, when you think that is one of Campbell's key attributes, I'm even more surprised that he wasn't on for the last half hour.
Of course, I agree, because I think probably majority of Luton fans are thinking the same thing. Like you say about the press just wasn't there. Midfield was the issue for us. And it's almost like, look, we've got Pelly, I've seen the Canberra presses, obviously Clark can do that job, but it's not the same. Campbell, when there's acres of space in midfield, Campbell will, like you say, who'll keep running. He's a similar player to Nakamba in a way. He just doesn't stop. It's like 2 or 3 of them on the pitch when they keep going.
They did move the ball quickly though through midfield.
It was too easy in transition.
There was a tall guy, and he was that's it. Yeah, he was quick on the stuff. They did pass the ball quickly, like 1, 2, 3 passes. So again, you got to say they played well on the day once they got going.
I think maybe a change of formation would have helped us out a bit as well. But look, I'm not a manager. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's face it, I just turn up every single Monday and talk absolute nonsense. So,
well,
yeah,
we agree with that. Yeah. And a couple of weeks ago, you didn't know what a library was. Anyway, if we just talk about the game, then we made 2 changes from Blackburn. Osho and Pelly was in for Berry and Bradley. So we put out one of our strongest teams, really. So you go there and you're thinking, okay, we can do this today, and we start off. And I thought we actually started quite well. And I think once we settled in, once we got over that first rush from Sunderland, I thought we did all right, Steve.
I would suggest that is the team we would have wanted to have put out. If everyone was 100% fit, that would be the team that you would pick. So, it was a good start. Again, at the game, I watched it again on telly Sunday, and it really was quite different. We done really well. We passed the ball well. We were creating space. I think Drame had a bit of an off game for him. He would have been disappointed with sort of a couple of bits, but we did start well. We weren't under any pressure at all, and they were starting to get quiet in the ground. I
feel like there was, in the first 5-10 minutes, was there a couple of hairy moments there, obviously down the right hand side, like say Drame, when the ball went over in behind or whatever. I think they hit the side netting, didn't they? Like early on or whatever. Or hit the stanchion behind. I don't know. I'm not too sure. But
I don't know if it was that early. Was it that one?
No, I don't think so. What I would say is I don't really remember Horvath having to make any saves in the first half an hour.
No.
In the first half an hour. And I thought actually we sort of, once we got the ball under control, we had some really decent chances. And don't forget, we took the lead really from our first proper attack.
Yeah. I mean, probably an ugly goal to some people, but I thought it was a thing of beauty because of the way they kept it alive. People talk about winning your individual battles. There was 3 duels there, and we won every single one of them to keep that ball alive. And I mean, Doughty, he smashed it. A keeper just got a hand to it because his hand was there. I think maybe a bit of the post as well, and then it fell to Elijah, and he tapped it in. Pretty cool though from Elijah. He must have been the old 5p 50p. So, but no, he put it away quite well.
I think he finished it really well, and at that point we were all going absolutely ecstatic in the stands up there. I felt
what a feeling, yeah.
What a feeling! What a start! We're going to push on from here, and we had a couple of other opportunities. When who was it who ran down the line? Was it
Clark, I believe.
Clark.
He squared it to...
Clark squared it.
Yeah, that was to Elijah as well.
Yeah.
A good block
Great
by the
block,
guy. Yeah.
And you're thinking you're going to press on from there?
Sorry, I was just saying, was that Clark going down the right-hand side, sorry, when he squared it to, was it Elijah, was it?
Yeah, Elijah, yeah.
I mean, like I said, I haven't watched it back. But I felt like he did the right thing. But I remember on the day a few people saying, maybe he could have gone for goal himself. Could he have, obviously looking back on the TV, could he have, Steve?
No.
Bit of an angle, wasn't it?
We said at the time, he could have shot.
Yeah.
If there's no one there, then it would have been okay to shoot. But he done exactly the right thing.
Of course. I thought that was
he set it up an absolute treat. The pace on it was absolutely beautiful. And, that was going away. There's no two ways about it. That was going in the net, but it was well blocked.
Yeah.
I was quite impressed with Eddie Bear on the weekend. I thought he put a real good shift in.
He worked hard, yeah, he did work tirelessly.
So, yellow cards, we got a few, and Nakamba got booked, and for me, that really affected his game. And then our midfield started to slow up a bit, didn't they? And you're thinking about Pelly got one as well, and then you're thinking now, actually, they put in one more challenge and we're down to 10 men. Do you think those cards, Bataro, probably affected how our midfield played?
Definitely. I think, did Clark get one as well? Or was it all three of the midfield that started?
Maybe Clark did.
But either way, I mean, look, early yellow cards, I mean, that's got to unnerve you a little bit. I mean, if it was me, for example, I know for a fact that if I was a defensive-minded player, like, say, Nakamba, for example, and your natural part of your game is to, go in and intercept and be fully committed, if you can't go and do that without the fear of having getting sent off the back of your mind, that's going to play a part, I'm sure. But yeah, of course it is. I mean, there's so many.
It must have taken a few % off their commitment to some of the tackles. Maybe that was why the press wasn't as efficient as it normally is.
Especially the way the referee as well was like so card happy as well. Like he was putting out cards for everything, wasn't he? Let's face it. So I mean, in the back of your mind, if you're seeing yellow card pop up every 5 minutes or so, you've got to be thinking, I tell you what, slight nick, and I take someone out slightly, I'm off.
Yeah.
So of course, it's going to play a part.
I mean, at the game we got very frustrated with the referee. But Steve, you've said you've watched it back, and maybe your opinion's slightly changed.
He was still poor. He still was poor, but there was like a 10-minute spell where we were outraged about every free kick, and it seemed to be free kick after free kick. And I would say, looking back, half of them, they probably were free kicks, whereas at the time we were just bellowing about every single one of them, but there was still plenty of poor decisions made by him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, like I say, we were quite high up as well. We can't always see anything, especially me, my eyes are terrible, so... But no, I know what you're saying, but the referee, he was absolutely shocking as well at the same time.
He did seem to lap it up. He seemed to be, loving the fact that there was, that was a soft touch. There you go, have a free kick.
That's what I mean. And then slightly more than sort of like 30% contact. It was a yellow card, wasn't it, every time? So, but look, I mean, I don't know who this guy is or whatever. I've not looked who the referee was, but I'm sure obviously...
Sunderland fans would say they were just as hard done by him. In fact, they had more yellow cards than us.
Well, that is a strange thing, because when I watch a Luton game, I hardly ever see the opposition. I'm literally nearly always just watching the Luton players. Yeah. People say to me, "Oh, Suss and Satch had a good game." Really? So maybe I should watch the whole game a bit more.
No, it's good to be part of that.
7 or 8 pints inside you as well.
But I think Sunderland fans would actually say, once they... Well, let's talk about the lead up to their goal, because we failed to defend well there. Did Horvath? I can't remember. Did Horvath kick it through and then Pelly lost possession and fouled, or Pelly went to gain possession back and fouled?
There was a lunge. He was sort of going back towards goal, and he did lunge in. But the problem is, at that time, they were picking up every second ball. Every misplaced pass seemed to go to one of them. So, there was this momentum and this sort of wave that was coming against us. And I think the players were just doubling up in their efforts to try and stop the flow. And of course, there was, it was a lunge. Again, because there'd been so many in a short period of time, we were all going, for Christ's sake, ref, you're doing it again. Yeah. It was.
Oh, to be fair, I could see it from... It was the other end to us, wasn't it? Obviously, we were quite high up. You could see straight away he's caught him anyway. But, like I say, it was from behind as well, wasn't it? Well, it looked like it was from behind anyway.
To the side.
Angle,
We had our chances to clear the ball, though, and sadly we didn't do that. So as soon as that whistle goes, we all know we're in a dangerous position for that free kick.
Yeah.
I don't want to knock any of our players because we've got another game to come. But do you think the Wall and Horvath were positioned correctly?
No, it was a cracking free kick. To me, there's no blame with the keeper. There's no blame with the Wall. No, sometimes you've just got to say, well done for having a £30 million striker on loan. Well done.
Yeah, no, he's got a point though, to be fair, because look, everyone knows about this guy, Diallo, don't they? And let's face it, he's way too good to be playing for, well, not even just for Sunderland, that's without me saying this, he's too good to be...
This level.
He's too good to be playing at this level. He should be playing in the Premier League, 100%.
It was some strike, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What a goal. I mean, you've got to stand...
It as well, doesn't he? It's a little roll on. And
you've literally got to stand there as a supporter and go, that goal was amazing.
Yeah. Sometimes, once that play has started, there's nothing you can do about it. So, no problems with the Wall, no problems with the keeper. Just one of those things.
If we were 3 or 4-0 up, I probably applauded that at the time. The fact that he's done that, I probably would have done. I probably would have gone fair play. Not quite applaud it. Not like don't look at me like that. You know what I'm saying? Though? I would have gone fair.
Such a disappointment, isn't it?
Yeah.
No,
right, that's it.
I know what you're saying, though, Bataro.
See ya.
Put your phones back.
I'm off now. He's upset me today.
This early as well.
Yeah, I know. Let me get an beer at me.
We're talking about the game there, and the place erupted. They're not at Roker Park anymore, but they would call that the Roker Roar, wouldn't they? Yeah. It was amazing sound, and at that time we get a bit deflated. And I go back to the game when we played them at last season, in the season.
Yeah.
And when they, Diallo did his Tom Daly, and he won the penalty. And then we had a moment there after that of the previous match where the crowd got up for it, the team got up for it.
And it was a difficult last 5 or 10, wasn't it?
So I feel the same happened this time. Don't you feel that we had to get in at 1-1 at half time? Yeah,
we did. When you've got a crowd of that many people, they're going to sort of just go along with it, aren't they? They got swept along with it. We've got to make sure that we do that Tuesday evening. Okay, we've got to make damn sure that that's what we do as well. Yeah. They done well.
So you're hopeful that second half we'll come out all guns blazing and we'll have the same start to the second half as we did in the first, and it wasn't the recognised Luton Town performance from the second half that we've seen all season.
No.
For me, it totally changed. Why do you think that happened?
Like I say, occasion, having known that we've qualified for the playoffs for the last how many weeks, I don't know, maybe it's like, like the momentum we was on, like knowing we had the pressure of getting into the playoffs, maybe that, we had I think 3 weeks or whatever, where we sort of like went, we can chill a little bit here. Maybe I don't know, maybe I didn't get out for it. I'm not sure that's probably the reason, because let's face it, professional footballers, they know what to do. And I'm sure Rob Edwards, Mick and all that, I'm sure they're getting right up them and they're sitting there like making sure they kick on. But I'm not too sure what happened. I really don't know.
Sunderland were in control though.
Yeah, I think I'm probably more inclined to say that they just played with a high level of intensity, to be honest with you. Maybe they felt that was their big chance at home. I know they're great away from home, but young team, etc., etc. It's going to be a very different experience for them Tuesday night. I just thought they played with more intensity. I thought they passed the ball quicker, and I think we were just trying to catch them up at times.
In general, kept the ball better as well.
Again, you've got to say sometimes, the opposition has played well.
Mm-hmm. But affected by, obviously we've already touched on this, affected by our yellow cards for our midfield. And our midfield, really, for me, again, I haven't watched the game back, Steve, so you can correct me if I'm wrong. On the day, I thought Nakamba wasn't as good as he's been recently, and I think maybe held back because of his yellow card. And that, for me, was a bit of a disappointment.
Do you know, the amount of times he was there for the tackle, but the guy just got a toe to it. They would just seem to be just a fraction quicker on several occasions. And again, that's not having to go at any of our players because they haven't done anything wrong. But, these guys had really quick feet, and I just felt that they were just nicking it away. And I think for Nakamba and all the other guys, I think that would sort of breed some frustration because they're used to, dominating the midfield and really sort of stamping their authority. And I think because the other team were getting the upper hand on them slightly, I think that sort of maybe put their noses out of joint and, maybe just affected their game a little bit.
Like
something that did upset us was Lockyer getting that elbow sandwich right at the start.
Yeah. But Gelhart, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I didn't see it when I was at the stadium.
No.
So, you know, I can only go with what people have said because I've not watched the game back because I was too sad to do it. But if you've watched the game back, Steve, would if there was VAR in the place, would they pick that up?
Yeah, he would have been absolutely gone. Lockyer was behind him, and he's sort of doing what any sort of normal defender does, sort of maybe just holding his forearm or sort of hand on his side, sort of so he knows where he is. And then I think Gelhardt went to sort of move away to the right. Yeah. Again, Lockyer sort of just had hold of his arm, and then wallop. Elbow, right in the side of the face. And,
it was terrible, wasn't
it? And Lockyer, he's okay with the dark arts, and he'll
no, it's true.
But he'll give it and he'll receive it within the boundaries. But you could see he was really, really pissed off about it because he was talking to the ref. He weren't happy. He felt like it was a cheap shot.
Yeah.
And the commentators on Sky were, that is a lucky young man. He can't get away with that.
This is the thing, like say, cheap shot. It was a cheap shot. I mean, I just can't understand it. I mean, look, I don't know where the referee was at this point. Like I said, was he close?
No, it was off the ball, and I can understand the ref not seeing it. However, I can't believe for a second that the linesman or one of the other officials didn't see it. I don't believe that.
And the thing is, right, I mean, this is the thing, like, it has to, like, maybe I'm just being a bit optimistic now or whatever else, but I feel like something like that happened off the ball, they didn't have to go and look at that. I'd give him a ban for that. So I know we want him getting banned, but realistically, there's not enough being done about, like these, dark arts of football and whatever else, and people like throwing elbows, a swing or whatever. I think Billy Sharp did it, didn't he, against us once as well, against Lockyer?
Yeah.
Nothing happened to him. So why are they like not looking at this and saying, do you know what? That's violence. If I had done that in the street, I'd be spending 24 hours in a police cell.
Yeah, I mean, Clark got elbowed in the face in the 30th minute as well.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, Clark got one. I think it was a corner of the penalty area. So they don't mind raising their arms.
Hopefully they do it a couple of times on Tuesday, and then get a few players sent off. So that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Sunderland fans might have a case for an argument of Nakamba's challenge that they thought was a second yellow for him, and it sort of just got waved off. Would you agree that Nakamba was lucky to stay on the pitch, Patari?
I mean, like I said, I haven't watched the game back, but what I saw of it, no, I feel like he was just, I feel like the referee was dishing out yellow cards like he wanted to get rid of him, you know what I'm saying? But for me, it's almost like one of those ones, I think you have to have a little bit of leniency with certain things. I mean, you tell me, Steve, like say you've like say watched it back. Do you feel like you should be asking him really, not me, but I feel like there should be more leniency sometimes with like misplaced tackles or whatever else.
I think a trigger-happy referee that he was, on that basis, Nakamba was probably a little bit lucky because he was quite happy dishing them out.
But realistically, like I say, do you not think like leniency with the referees? Like you don't always see referees like that. You probably see like one every 30 games, say, like, for example, like dishing out yellow cards like they're going out of fashion. But
they were nothing tackles. They weren't dangerous tackles. They weren't dirty tackles. It was just an accumulation of tackles. So maybe common sense prevailed on that occasion. So
then the unbelievable happened, or probably predictable given the way that we performed in second half. Sunderland scored a second goal. It's quite disappointing because when you watch that goal back, it feels like he almost had a free head. He got himself in a really good place, but we should have defended better, surely.
Yeah,
we should certainly have made the header more difficult for him. I mean, he sort of guided it in nicely. Again, that's fine. He found a pocket of space. He guided it in nicely. Nothing Horvath could done. It sort of wrong-footed him. He put it back sort of from the near post from where it came from. Again, nothing the keeper can do. But maybe we should have been able to apply a bit more pressure on him.
He wasn't a tall guy. That's all I'm saying. He got in the right position really quickly.
Who scored their second goal, sorry?
Hume.
Oh, wow. Troy Hume. Is that the centre-half, is it? Yeah, it must be.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a high cross. It wasn't a cross that needed any sort of height or a leap or anything. It was almost sort of bending down slightly and just sort of guided it back into the near post. So,
and then it was damage limitation, because I don't remember us having a really, really strong chance in the second half.
No.
But the pressure was coming all of the time. The atmosphere was building. The noise was amazing.
But there wasn't a lot of shots.
Well, I was about to say that for all the huff and puff and all that noise, I don't really remember then Horvath having to make an amazing save, or we were getting worried because, if they get a third, then we're in big trouble.
Yeah, that's right. But so the fact that they had all that pressure and there wasn't really any other sort of scrambles or chances, to me that shows that the defenders had got a grip of the game, they'd got a grip of the atmosphere and the situation, and they were doing what they've been doing all season, and that was basically holding the opposition at bay.
Sunderland finished that game. Their fans are in seventh heaven. They are unexpected playoff contenders like we were last season, and they're one up in front. Clearly, we've got the second leg to come. We asked you guys, we're going to talk about the second leg in a minute, by the way, but we asked you guys, why do you think we performed so poorly in the second half? Rich says, outplayed, worked us out after 15 minutes, then passed the ball around us, ran at us, turned us to centre-backs, stretched us in the wide areas. Only positive is we didn't concede more. In all honesty, Sunderland are a very good side.
Yeah, they're a good side.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say they're a very good side. I think they're a good side. They made the most of the pitch. They made the most of good pace. They passed the ball well. They played well on the day. We're still in it. We've still got this.
That's what I'm saying. They thrived on our weaknesses at the time. So, look, and then it's not going to be like that for the second leg. Let's face it. So,
no.
I hope we're well. I hope I'm wrong. Sorry, I hope I'm right. Sorry, should I say?
I hope you're right.
Imagine.
Yeah. The same
Imagine.
Tom says Pelly and Nakamba both sitting on yellows nullified our pressing game as we were scared to put a foot in, which we sort of touched on already. As soon as it went to 2-1, we had to be sensible and not lose the tie, because on the counter-attack, if it had gone after them, we could have conceded 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think the game was crying out for Campbell, and I think we missed a trick there.
Ad said ref was too whistle happy, and half our players were on bookings. Well, actually, to be correct, 3 of them were on bookings, but 3 essential players. This meant our team couldn't play a natural game of passing and getting stuck in. Any momentum we started to get, he would blow for a foul and kill it. It worked out. He was given a foul once every 3 minutes. Now, Steve, you've watched this game back again.
Yeah. He was blowing up for free kicks all the time. It was very stop-start. He didn't let it flow.
George says, first half we were far the better team, but when Diallo scored, we looked shell-shocked and couldn't recover. The fact that Morris was also hobbling around at the back end of the game meant it was 10 versus 11. Very lucky to come out with just a goal deficit. We got an opinion from a Sunderland fan, Chris. Thought you lot, I'll take that as in the nicest way, Chris. I thought you lot actually played bad. We just got into the swing of the game.
Yeah, didn't play bad.
Yeah, I didn't actually play bad. Yeah, I missed a whole line there. Yeah, Chris, apologies. I thought you lot didn't actually play bad. I thought, that was a bit critical of him, wasn't it? I thought,
Yeah, find your own podcast. Off you go.
Yeah, off you go, yeah. Thought you lot didn't actually play bad. We just got into the swing of the game. Wasn't particularly biased. The referee wasn't particularly biased to any team. Just a poor ref with some questionable decisions. I thought Nakamba deserved a second yellow too. So, if anything, a fair game.
Yeah, it's not an outrageous comment. He could have gone.
Like you say, we agree on the whole thing of the referee as well. Questionable decisions. So it wasn't just for us as well. It was for the other team. So yeah.
Nick says, we were too nervous and frightened of conceding more goals. You could tell from the yellow cards that we just lost control of the game and it was getting away from us. They will be right up for it on Tuesday, and we could be even more nervous if we concede a goal. We may collapse. And Kieran, throughout the whole first half, they couldn't handle our pressure. We score the goal and decide to sit back in the second half after we dominated the first. Need to go all out in the second leg, get the crowd behind the lads, and let's go for that win. Kieran's point there, we did dominate the first half. We talked about that. But, we need to give some credit to Sunderland because they really went for it. They took control.
Yeah, we did not decide to sit back. That they were pushing us back. It wasn't by choice that the second half unfolded how we did. I've spoke to gentleman down the park yesterday, Mickey Ward. I said I'd say hello to him, but he went to the game as well, and he basically said the same as us. Maybe we got away with it. The uncharacteristic passing mistakes. It just didn't flow, how it has been for ages. So we are going to be okay if we play well. We've got them. We've got them.
So we got to look at that second leg is just a semi-final now, isn't it? It's a one game, winner takes all.
Yep.
So how are we going to set up? Do you think the team will change?
Oh, hopefully I think Campbell will come in. I believe Campbell will come in tomorrow.
I think if anyone's place is maybe in jeopardy, it might be Clark's. Because, we need him for, his vision and his lovely passing. And, I'm sure he'll be the first to say that it wasn't quite there, as others didn't quite perform as well. Maybe it does need a bit of Campbell to start with. Maybe Clark coming on. Who knows? But
like you touched on, like last week, he hasn't played a lot of football either, Clark, as well.
No,
so I think
exactly.
You don't want to burn him out. For let's hope praise that we get to the final. We don't want to burn him out before then.
Yeah, I don't think the final can be any consideration. We have to take this as our last game of the season tomorrow and just all out on the pitch to get through that, and then we'll worry about where we are at that point.
There's been a lot of talk from the management of creating that cauldron about atmosphere at Kenilworth Road. I know there's only 10,000 of us, and if you think about there was 45,000 at Stadium of Light. There's 10,000 of us. Well, 8,000 of us, because 2 of the 10,000 will be Sunderland supporters. 1,000 of them. So 9,000 of us. We created a cracking atmosphere against Watford. Can we recreate that, Batari?
Can't see why not. We're a very, very good team. We finished third for clearly a reason. So why can't we? We've got some big results at home this season. And like I say, since the turn of the year, since Rob Edwards came in, I think we've won the majority of our home games.
The fans are going to be up for it. When they walk out of that tunnel, it is going to feel different, but equally as intimidating for them. Mm-hmm. The fact that you can see every single fan's individual face, the fact that it's so close and that, it's going to be different, but the hostility, the nerves, the atmosphere, it will be different, but equally as influential in the game. So it is up to us to do our bit.
I say, like you said about seeing, obviously, the crowd's faces close up, whatever else. It's a good job you don't sit too. Well, I say it should be a good job. Well, it should be a thing that you sit right down the bottom tomorrow, because you frighten the fuck out of them, mate.
Where on earth has this level of abuse come from?
Every week I've got to get something before you get something.
Unwarranted abuse. You should respect your elders.
No, I should, but I'm that kind of bloke. I don't. Right. I'm an awful guy.
Lads, calm down. The atmosphere at the game is one thing. How do we start? Do we just go all guns blazing, or we just wait for that tactical moment to score and try and go on from there?
Yeah, no, we're not going to go gun ho to start with. Crikey, we know if we were 3 or 4 down, then there would be a level of urgency. But we'll be looking to play quick. We'll be looking to press better, and we'll be looking to score goals from the first minute.
Keep the ball better as well.
But it won't be that level of desperation won't be there. Worst
case scenario. We allow them to score, then we're up against it. So we need to score first. Would you agree?
Oh, 100%. If we don't score first, Dave, it's a very, very long way back then, isn't it? If we go a goal down early, you'd rather go, you wouldn't rather, but if you were going to concede, it has to be early. But if you concede, say, like before half time or just half time, then I think for me it's game over for us then.
If you think about it logically, if they score 1, we've still got to score 2. So nothing changes really, apart from us having less time to score in. But if we score first, hopefully our momentum pushes us through. Yeah, the crowd gets behind us. Sunderland get a bit more tetchy.
If we get the first goal, we've got to do what they didn't do, and that is go for the jugular. We've got to go for them. We've got to carry it on, because again, we said that they didn't go for the jugular. Maybe that was because our defending was better during the second half. However, if we get the first goal, we've got to keep going.
You don't become a bad team overnight. You don't become a bad team after the season we've had. No, so we know that it's there. We just got to hope everybody performs to the max, right?
We're not a bad team. We're a very, very good team. We're efficient. We're hard-working, and we're going to see it on Tuesday night. I've
just got a feeling that, all our mistakes happen in one game, and that was obviously Sunderland the other day, but I feel like nothing... Well, if that is the case, nothing is going to go wrong for us. on Tuesday, and we're going to go for it, and we're going to pre-score. You know, we have 3 shots on target, and we might score 2 goals. I've got a feeling that's how it's going to go.
3-1.
Yeah, 3-1.
Oh.
2-0 Luton.
I'm not going to even think about the predictions. I was just looking at, if we look at the facts from...
Down, I think it's going to be 1-1, but never mind, I won't say too much.
Well, then you should be banned from the podcast if that happens.
Maybe.
Even with all that possession they had at home game, we had more shots on target than they did there. We just didn't convert them. So there is opportunities, and Morris really will get a chance, hopefully at home. Definitely get a chance.
Yeah, I think people have spoken about the height of the centre halves and stuff like that, and maybe we should be getting more crosses in. I think we will be looking to give more of a physical presence on the defensive line on Tuesday. I think maybe we weren't as physical as we would want to be because we weren't getting the ball up. I think that'll be a different story Tuesday.
Sunderland not coming to our place to just lie down and roll over. They know what they've got to do.
No, they're coming to win.
They're going to come and try and get a goal because that makes things harder for us.
Yeah, they're not a defensive team. They're a free-flowing team. They're going to come to attack us. Maybe that will help both sides the way that we're both teams looking to play. But, we'll see.
When we talk about the crowd tomorrow, and I hope this doesn't happen, but if Sunderland do score a goal, remember nothing changes. You've still got to score 2 to stay in the tie. Nothing changes, so you've got to be behind the boys more.
Yeah.
Hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully, we get a dream start like we did on Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we can push on. We're not going to mention the next round. We'll see what happens when that gets there.
Yeah.
All I've got to say is, if you're going to the game tomorrow, make sure you're there early. Make sure you get the crowd movement and go in with everything. Get that atmosphere up, and let's hope we get a game that we can remember at Kenilworth Road.
So your team needs you.
Your team needs you.
Exactly that. Oh man, don't. No, it's got towards the end.
It's tense, isn't it? It's like a mini cup final, really. If we can win this game, who knows what might happen. But don't forget, Sunderland are no mugs. They're coming to win.
Yeah.
And we just got to hope that we can perform much, much better than we did on Saturday.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, Steve.
I was just say one more push from the lads. One more push.
I think that's all we've got time for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for listening. With any luck, we'll have another. Well, we're definitely going to have a podcast, whatever happens after the next game, tomorrow night and tonight, if you're listening to this on Tuesday morning. So we're definitely coming back. Leave your comments in below, and we'll see you again soon.
Come on.
Yes,